Let's be real. Taxes are confusing. And when you bring them up, you get a lot of mixed reactions, especially around tax filing season here in the US. You have those people who are super excited because they're getting a big refund. On the other hand, you have people who put off filing to the last minute because they always get a big bill. And then, of course, there's that third party who's not going to file their taxes anyway. But that's neither here nor there. Today, I'm going to get a little bit into my feelings on tax season. And if you're new here, you may be wondering who I am and why my opinion matters. I'm Naya, and it's Naya's 2 cents on taxes. So growing up, I was definitely in that former category. It was always a lot of big excitement around tax season, and so I began to associate that with getting this big bonus from the government, free money, if you will. It wasn't until I was a little bit older and realized for most people, especially when they have a simple tax profile like me, when you get a refund, it's usually because you overpaid to the government throughout the year. And so 2024, my tax situation was a little scary. It was the first time where I was A, no longer a student, and B, I also made the most money I've ever made in my life. And so not only did I lose out on all those tax credits from being a student, I wasn't sure exactly how much money I was going to owe or how much to withhold. If you don't know, I have a full time job, but I also work a part time job. And so, of course, my part time job is not withholding a lot because those checks are a lot smaller. And my full time job doesn't automatically know I have this extra income that significantly, essentially moved me into a new tax bracket, actually. So I kind of had to do a lot of work on my own, a lot of shady math to try to figure out how much extra to withhold so I could get as close to zero as possible. Now, I could have made it work so I still got some form of a refund, but for me, I wanted more of my money that I was already earning to be in my pocket where it should be throughout the year. And so let's talk a little bit about what you can do to kind of figure out ballpark how much you owe, how much extra you should withhold. So when it comes time to tax season, you're not getting a big bill, but you're also not getting a big bonus of money you could have already had throughout the year. Life would be a lot simpler for us if our employers could just withhold the right amount without us having to do too much extra work. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. And again, when you get in these refunds, more often than not, you gave the government an interest free loan throughout the year, and then they take their sweet time giving it back, even though it's your money. For example, last year, I filed my taxes on January 31st. I did not get my federal refund until February 20th, and I didn't get my refund from my state taxes until April 1st. Now imagine this is my money that I overpaid, and it's taken months for me to get it back, no matter how much the balance is. So I think it's really important for us, especially when we're on these financial freedom or debt payoff journeys, to really make our money work for us and keep as much as we earn that's rightfully ours in our pockets. Even if you're somebody who gets child tax credits or other tax credits, there are ways to adjust your W 4 so you get that money in advance throughout the year and not just at tax time. Now, again, in the eyes of the government, I'm a single, childless lady, so we won't get too complicated on all the specifics of tax stuff. But I'm gonna show you two things I did to kind of calculate throughout the year whenever I got a raise or my income changed to adjust my withholding so I can get, again, as close to zero as possible and keep as much of my money in my own pocket. Okay, so the IRS, try to do us a favor, I guess, provide this tax withholding estimator website. And so this is the most in-depth way I found to calculate how much tax you should withhold. You have to have your pay stub, how much, has been put into your retirement so far, whether or not you got a bonus or we getting a bonus this year, very specific details about your income. You plug it into this calculator, hit the button at the end, it'll say you're withholding the right amount, you're not withholding enough, here's the amount to withhold, or you're withholding too much, and it'll tell you how to adjust your W 4 to fix that. Again, this is the most accurate way, but unfortunately, it's still not 100% because tax situations are tricky. Things change until we get all those W-2, 1099s, all that documents. Who knows, what the final numbers are. But like I said, if you want to be as detailed as possible and the most accurate you could possibly be, this is the website I would use. But if you're pressed for time and you kind of want just a general overview, of what you think you'll owe and what to withhold, Smart Asset also has a general tax calculator to calculate how much you owe. Now, for this is going to be based on the prior tax year. So, for example, standard deduction in 2024 was 14,600, but in 2025 it's going up. And so the number that you get on the Smart Asset website will be slightly higher than what you're actually going to end up owing for this current 2025 tax year. But it's still a good way to get a ballpark of what it is you owe, if you should alter your withholding at all, or just leave things the same. So for me, if we scroll down here, I am estimating that I'll make 75,000 this year between both jobs. If I don't get any raises, I'm gonna contribute about 3,300 at least to my retirement. And again, I am a single tax filer. And if you scroll down, this website will also tell you your state taxes. And so North Carolina has a flat tax rate, and so it's a little bit easier to kind of do that math and calculate. So you'll see that, and again, it shows for last year, it said I'll owe $7,600 in taxes for the federal government and $2,600 in state taxes. And so if you want to know how to adjust your paychecks, what you do is divide that number by 12, see if it matches what your employer is already withholding. And if not, you should be able to go in yourself. But if not, you can get with HR and have them help you make the adjustment and see whether you need to withhold extra or have them help you figure out how to adjust your W-4 so they're withholding less so you don't end up with that bill. And these are the simplest ways to do it. But again, they're not foolproof because guess what? I did this multiple times throughout the year. I probably adjusted my withholding and W-4 3 or 4 times as my income changed. And surprisingly, I ended up getting a pretty substantial refund this year. So let's talk a little bit more about that and what I plan to do with it. So, despite me doing all this research on my own about taxes and filing and withholding and calculating those numbers, I did not realize until I filed my taxes that there also is a standard deduction when you file state taxes. And so I end up getting about $700 back from the federal government and $700 from the state which I live in. And while that'll help me out, it's a nice bonus. Again, I want as much of my money in my pocket throughout the year and not just in the government's pocket. And so as soon as I was done filing my taxes, I went back to these calculators. Based on those numbers they gave me, I adjusted my withholding, and in essence, I'll be giving myself a small raise this year. Now, it's not a lot of money, and it's possible that those numbers will still be off. But at the end of the day, I feel good knowing that I'm being intentional about where my money is going, having my hard earned dollars be mine, and still being intentional about this money that I did get back. Now, you've heard how I feel about it, but at the end of the day, like I say, personal finance is personal. So, do you like getting a big check from the government? If you get a big bill, do you save throughout the year? Let me know in the comments how you feel about taxes, if you're going to change anything for this 2025 year. And if you like this video or you want to hear more about my 2 cents, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, guys. Bye.